I love today's question. It comes from the great, the powerful, the amazing Lisa Bryan. If you want me to answer your question, just leave them in the comment below. But today we're going to talk about property management CRMs. And I'm going to lay out for you some of the biggest mistakes that we make, 5 of them to be exact. I want to help you better understand how property management CRMs are helping you and how they could be helping you so much more. But let's read Lisa's question right now. Team, put Lisa's question up on the big board. So Lisa writes in, Matt, in the land of CRM, how can you cut through all the emails, the chat, etc., to get to real meaningful communication for the purpose of getting the lease? Well, that's what this channel is all about. I want to help you get more leases, Lisa. Now, if you find this video helpful, any of you, please smash that like button. I know you think it's going to be helpful, so go ahead and smash it right now. It would really help me. And if you work in the zip code of property management, please subscribe to this channel. Well, let's get into it right now. When it comes to property management CRM, I want to tell you how the market used to be, how our life used to be way back in the dinosaur ages, right? Then what changed and how it is now. And then I'm going to lay out 5 big mistakes that we make in terms of property management CRM. Okay, so how it used to work back in the dinosaur ages, like 20 years ago, 25 years ago. We didn't need a property management CRM. We also didn't need a sales process. Why? Renters didn't have a lot of information, and they for sure didn't have access to it. The only place they were getting information for the most part was either the newspaper in the classified ad section or those 4 rent magazines that we would grab at the grocery store. Renters also didn't have very many choices. The fact of the matter is there just wasn't as many apartment communities out there as there is today. So when you combine lack of information and lack of choices, no need for a CRM. All you have to do is show up, put some balloons out front, unlock the door to the leasing office, and the renters just flowed in, right? Hoping you had something available for them. Right around the year 2000, things began to change. Renters had more choices. There was more apartment communities being built, and that required us to have to manage a pipeline because we wanted to make sure we sold those renters on living with us versus the new construction, the new competition that was coming online. So it required us to have a CRM to manage the pipeline. And we started to look at having some basic minimal sales processes to try and get that close. Now things have changed. The industry's totally different. Today's renter has access to more information than ever before, and they've got more choices than they've ever had before. So we need both a CRM and a sales process to make sure that we're tracking all of that data, right? We're measuring the right things, and our sales process is making sure that we're communicating the value. That's where that meaningful conversation comes in that you were talking about, Lisa. The biggest mistake that we make overall is we expect our CRM to create a sales process and a sales culture for us. We think by simply plugging in a CRM that we're going to have a great sales process and a great sales culture. Not so fast. That doesn't work. And there's 5 main components to where that breaks down. Let me explain these 5 big mistakes for you right now so you can have both the best CRM and the best sales process. The first mistake that we make when it comes to property management CRMs is we place too much importance on quantitative data and not enough on qualitative data. What do I mean by that? Your quantitative data is anything you can measure. How many calls did we get? What was their budget? What did they say their budget was in terms of numbers? Was it 3,500? And you write 3,500 in there. Quantitative is anything that you can put your arms around and really measure. Now, qualitative is more of concepts or traits. So things like, what was their biggest reason for moving, right? Why did they want to move in the first place? What did they ask to see first? What did they like most in our community? What research did they do on our community? All of that qualitative things, that really the emotional reasons that you can put your arms around why that person is renting. Our CRMs, for the most part, a lot of us haven't even populated categories where we can put that type of information in. Well, moving is scary, moving is stressful. It's those qualitative things, the real why behind why they're going to move, that's going to help you improve your sales process. The quantitative, the numbers, are not going to help you really communicate, importantly, the value that your community can bring that renter. The bottom line here, Lisa, is you can't have meaningful communication if you don't know what's meaningful to your renter. So make sure there's a place in your CRM to be cataloging what is meaningful to that renter. Along the same lines, mistake number 2, most of our property management CRMs, and this is the way we've set them up, don't have a place for us to memorialize what is the biggest reason for that person to be moving. What's their main reason for moving? Are they trying to get away from their neighbors? Are they new to the area? Did they just get a new job? Did they get rid of their roommate in their downsizing? Are they needing a third bedroom because they're having another child? Is there a place in your CRM for you to write down, catalog, and memorialize what's that renter's biggest reason for moving? Mistake number 3, and this is both on the CRM side and on the leadership side. We don't place an emphasis on meaningful follow-up. It's kind of a, we'd like you to do this, but in the CRM we spend really little time focusing on what do we do as a company in terms of follow-up. How much importance do we place on follow-up? And our data at Leasing University shows the property management companies that place an ultra high degree of importance on follow-up get more leases, period, point blank. Even if you know that meaningful information about your prospect so that you can have a meaningful conversation, if you don't pick up the phone and have that conversation, it doesn't mean anything. Mistake number 4, along with the culture of follow-up, most of our CRMs don't have a very simple, very easy to follow, step-by-step process for conducting that follow-up. All right, it's Monday. I'm going to call Pam this afternoon at 4. Then my CRM is going to remind me to follow back up with her at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and so on and so on and so on. You can't just have a culture of follow-up. That's not going to help your newbies. It's also not going to help your OG veterans as well, because without the step-by-step playbook of what do I do and when do I do it, we end up not doing it, right? We've got a million things going on in the leasing office. So I want you to go back, take a look at your CRM and say, hey, is it really laying out in a very simple, easy to follow process all of the follow-up interactions that I need to make? Mistake number 5, and I'm going to leave you with this one. Most of us have set our CRMs up in a way that do absolutely nothing to facilitate handoffs, deal transfers, and personnel changes. What do I mean by that? Not all of us are going to get along with the same prospect. Not all of us are going to have that meaningful interaction. That's fine. That's okay. We're all not going to be the perfect salesperson to work with every single prospect. But we need our CRM to help us with the ability for me to say, hey, Lisa, can you take over this deal? I'm just not making a connection with this prospect, right? Can I hand off or transfer that deal to you? Also, if I leave, let's say I go work for another company, or you've got to let me go because I'm not getting the job done. Does the CRM support the new person to come in, step right in instantly, look at all the notes and say, hey, I'm going to follow up with Matt. Here's what's most important to him. Here's his biggest reason for moving. Here's the next step in the follow-up process. It's going to be very easy for me to pick that ball up and run with it because I know exactly what's going on in that renter's life. There's your 5 big mistakes that we make with CRMs. Again, please smash that like button. I'd consider it a personal favor to me. I hope you've subscribed to the channel. And if you have a quick second, check this out. The way people rent apartments has changed. Today's renter has access to more information. Today's renter has more choices. The apartment industry needs you. Studies have shown that moving is the most stressful life event. The old sales training, well, it just doesn't work today. I'd like to teach you how to take the stress out of leasing apartments in a way that's meaningful to you and your renters and get you 7 times more leases. I'll show you how the perfect leasing process works. I'm gonna walk you through everything from answering the phone to closing the lease. I'm gonna show you how to determine your prospects' wants and their needs so that you can build value in your apartments. You will learn how to handle any objection or complaint. I'm gonna show you how to connect with your renter so it's easy for them to rent with you. I've taught the best property management companies and thousands of people just like you how to lease apartments. Property management is complicated. I'll simplify it for you. There's more competition than ever before. I'm gonna show you how to be number one. All of a sudden, your career, it's gonna make perfect sense, even if you've never worked in sales or property management before. And for the advanced property manager, I'm gonna show you how to take things to the next level. Leasing University is a new, simple, step-by-step process that's effective. We're gonna help you become a rock star in property management. I'm Matt Easton, and this is Leasing University.